And we're back with another amazing podcast episode. Before we jump into today's one, I want to say thank you to all of the love and support that you guys have shown me on my previous episode with DJ Coach. That happened really suddenly, but I did what I could in the amount of time that I had. Thank you so much. That inspired me to bring another guest. And today we've got Kanisa, more affectionately known as ADHD Trader on TikTok. That is actually where I met her. She hails from TikTok. That is her side of the world. Kanisa, thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much.
It's a pleasure.
It's been
This
a
is
long
something.
time coming.
Yeah, this is something that was supposed to happen for a very long time. I remember our first ever interview, I would say, at FM25,
Last year, yeah.
and now we're having another one directly after FMAS5. So FMAS25. So
Yeah.
welcome
Thank
to
you so much,
the
Rydall.
podcast, and I'm very certain that my audience will be able to learn from you today.
I hope so.
Before I get into the questions, FMAS25, your impressions.
I was impressed by it. A lot of opportunities to show, traders in the industry that there are, there's bigger doors that we can walk through and elevate our careers, especially in the finance department. So, yeah, no, it was great. I love networking and meeting different people as well with different, walks of life when it comes to trading and just the finance industry in general. So, I'm excited for the next one, definitely. And I think everyone should try and prioritize coming to it, especially because, again, FMIS is free, so not really wasting money, but you will be leaving with a lot of added knowledge with anything you want to do in terms of finance, even crypto this year. The crypto was there.
I was
as well.
really stunned to see that people are going really the mile in getting not only the word out there, but also the education side of
and
it.
the information and just anything that you're still confused about and you want to have an in-person type of explanation about things, then if FMIS is the place to go, definitely.
I'm always impressed by the panel of people they pick to have these different conversations on, lot sizing perhaps, risk management and all of that. I actually have one of my friends that I know at ATFX, which spoke this year, Kevin, shout out to him.
Yeah.
I didn't make it in time though, because I really wanted to get that recording, because I know that is a big thing for him, it's a big thing for me as well, just seeing another brother standing up on that stage.
It's a huge platform. I know, obviously my mentor as well, he was also speaking on the panel. He's getting called up by Bloomberg. So it's a huge platform. Not anybody can just go up there and be a panel speaker for FMIS. They're literally handpicked as well. So for certain topics. So it's a huge opportunity for all kinds of beginner people in trading and seasoned type of traders. It's an amazing opportunity.
One thing that I'm really starting to become proud of is the fact that opportunities to traders are opening, getting their commentary to Bloomberg.
Yes.
One person that I really saw now recently that has done that was MJ Givens Kase, and he's been invited to SABC3, I believe, to do the finance segment or to give his commentary in the finance. And to me that was a big thing, because like I say, right, we've had cash flow on SABC, we've had Rev Wayne on SABC, we've had Louis Junior Chakwani on SABC, we've had Sandile Shezi on SABC. But the differentiating factor for me here is that they were selling something. And he comes for commentary, which takes expertise to be able to give as knowledgeable as he gives it.
I was actually saying in one of my TikTok lives the other day, actually this past Saturday, I basically said that there's not enough growth in our trading industry, obviously for valid reasons. We all know as to why. And so to see MJ being called up to, give his insights and expertise in terms of the markets and how he sees it and how he views it and how he handles it on a daily basis and how he can suggest to others what to expect. I mean, that is a new level of just growth that we can all aspire ourselves to want to be in the same place like that. Because, like I said, there's an area of like stagnation with our popular traders. The ceiling that gets reached is, I said this on your last streaming when we had it last week, where I said the max level that influential traders can get to is being a face of a broker and claiming that it's theirs. That's the max.
No, that is so factual,
it's true.
That is so true. And not to shine a light on the whole industry like that, but have you seen how that has become like a norm for some? And look, I understand that is also a way for them to make like a quick buck and stuff. But also, this is why platforms like this are busy maturing. So the reason why I like had this, I don't know if you have tuned into his content, Jimmy Moyaha.
No, I haven't.
Look, they do finance content all around, but also trading, and for me, having someone like that, he's also present on SAFM.
Oh yeah, I do remember you mentioning that, yeah.
Having someone like that come to me and be like, we grand what you do, we love what you're doing. There's other guys, bigger guys, that don't grand what you're doing though. So think of maturing your platform. And that, for me, it played, with my head as I walked away. It literally played with my head. I shut down for about like 5-10 minutes there. Because while I was standing there, I'm like, okay, the big guns don't like what I'm doing. What now? How now? Are they here? Do they want to get me? Oh my goodness, I'm exposed. They can get me now whenever I'm in the open, I was literally stressing there for 5 minutes. But then I realized, look, there's still an opportunity to fix this.
Of course.
And it's not like I'm quitting the exposing side. It's just that I'm adding the podcasts to it, right? So there's the two aspects that I have when it comes to the mission and the vision of starting these podcasts. And I mean, you can let me know if I'm maybe busy with nonsense, or if the plan doesn't sound, or if the vision and mission doesn't sound that good to you. But the two visions and missions that I have for this channel, number one is, I said this a long time ago when I started like scam exposing.
Yeah.
The people that I have exposed, I just want to sit down with them, have a conversation with them, and pique their brain, see where they are at. But then also, number two, with the platform I have built, I also realize, and acknowledge the duty that lies on me to also put in a conscious effort to try and reinstall their integrity back into this industry. Which is why I'm inviting people like you. I'm doing Michael Dean Schmidt next. I want to have a podcast like with Jimmy Moyaha, Simon Brown that took Ref Wayne to the cleaners. All of these proper, Deshikar that I also want to go to, just find out like, how have you been managing to do this? Like, there's so many conversations and positive topics that I do want to get into, and I feel like with that message of Vincent, like people very often believe that I exaggerate when I say I didn't have time to prepare for DJ Coach, right? But Sunday morning in the AMs, 19 minutes past 1, Vincent messages me to tell me, we are leaving Monday. It's Sunday, we just have today.
Really?
Can you pull through? What's up? And that is, because for me it was like, okay, now you had Jimmy that came with the message. Here's the opportunity. You asked God, maturity, wisdom. I need to evolve this platform. And God don't just give evolution.
I do believe in
He
that.
gives you the opportunity to evolve.
I do believe in that 100%.
And that is why when that DJ Coach thing happened, as unprepared as I was, I will admit that.
I can also attest to that. I saw from start how everything just it was literally like a match just catching fire, and you had to take the opportunity at that.
I had to, and all of the questions that came from me before I went to the book came straight off the dome. And there's so much more that I wanted to ask him. I couldn't do follow-up questions because we were going to go back and forward the whole time. And I'm so glad that happened. And DJ Coach, I know you're watching. We are going to have a second podcast. And when that happens, it will obviously be on my terms. I will be prepared. So, yeah. Just come with your A game next time, because I most definitely will. And also, the other thing that also counted against me was I had to get to Nkobile at 5:30, bro.
You were busy.
And the thing is, halfway to DJ Coach them, I'm asking Vincent, because my mind is like, you guys are content creators, you guys should have lights, because I travel with my lights. And they tell me no. So I literally had to reroute, come back home, pack up my lights and leave. Okay. So I came to them at like 4:30 and 5:30 I needed to be at Nkobile's in Hout Bay. That was I literally felt like I was a Tokyo Drift driver by how many turns and stuff I had to take. But you know, that was all great. I grand the connections that I made through FMAS, and I'm also appreciative of the fact that people could see that I'm not hateful towards the industry. I'm just hateful towards certain people's actions. I'm not even hateful of them. And I feel like I did well in containing myself.
Oh no, you did.
Because there's a thing with DJ Coach and how we went at my like deceased mother.
Yes.
And for me it was just like, Rydall, let bygones be bygones, man. You're a grown man. You have lighters. Don't embarrass them like that. So, enough about FMAS 25 and the industry out there. The reason that I invited you here is because I know that you are one of the responsible ones. One of the ones that does things with integrity.
Yes.
And it would be a really great opportunity for me to just have you find your voice, find out what you're all about. Which I know a little piece of, I would say. But I believe my audience would also appreciate.
Oh yeah, I'm an open book, so.
Ooh, I love that.
I really am.
I love that. So I want to get into you, your personal life. Kanyisa, not ADHD Trader. Let's put away that mask we put on. Because when that Mr. Exposure mask comes on, you will not find Rydall anywhere inside. So I'm here for Kanye. Can you tell me about your upbringing and how it shaped your view of work, success, and money?
Ooh, wow, that's actually quite a very leveled type of deep question. But so where can I start? I can start with my mother. Everything starts with my mother. Obviously, I don't come from like the whole typical, came from nothing. I'm not gonna lie, I came from quite a privileged type of family.
Thank you for your honesty.
So I've lived in Sandton since I was 3. Haven't left, so I'm still there. But no, my parents, my mom mostly, she didn't come from a hard life type of background. My father did though. So my mom was born into a family where my grandfather was in the medical space, but more for like what do you call these things when a person dies, and he was more like in the autopsy type of industry. Yes. And not many black people were in that type of, occupation, especially because of apartheid, but they lived in the Transkei in the Eastern Cape. So there wasn't much apartheid there. So my mom was very, very sheltered, and my grandmother was a nurse, so that's how they came together, right? So from there, obviously finances were also very, very different. They had money, and they had we have a history in commercial property. So I'm going to be very honest with you guys. So by the time that my grandparents passed, we had properties left over and to us, and that's how we were like raised from. So yeah, my mom met my dad, who does come from quite a very, very underprivileged type of background. So he studied to be a doctor as well. So I come from a family of doctors, basically, like my whole family's just doctors, yes. So they met, long story short, around when I was 6 years old. my parents got divorced. So my dad kind of started like disappearing into the background where we don't really have a relationship like that anymore. So it literally just became me, my mom, and my sister, right? Most of my family also just dispersed when my grandparents passed. But so
it
it's
seems
literally...
like, sorry to just jump in there, but it seems like in all cultures, right across, whenever the grandparents pass, it's like the grandparents were the glue that kept the family.
It's always the glue that kept the family. So yeah, the moment that both of my grandparents passed, then it was a different ball game. And then my mom realized that, okay, we don't actually have much family at all at this point. So we became very, very close-knit. So it's my mom, my sister, and myself, just the three of us, and then my aunt, who doesn't reside in Johannesburg, but she continues to reside in the Eastern Cape. But we were all just the four of us. Not many male figures in our lives as well. I call him my grandfather, but he is like a great uncle of mine. But he was very involved in our lives after my grandparents passed, so I call him like my grandfather. He was based in New Jersey. He also just recently passed away. And then I had an uncle who is pretty huge in the business industry as well. So I only had like two, right, male figures in my life. So like I said, it's just been me, my mom, and my sister. We're still very, very close. Very, very, very close.
Beautiful.
And my mom basically was a single parent ever since then, raising my sister and I. But because of the things that were left by my grandfather, my grandparents, and she ended up having to find work in the travel industry, we didn't really have a difficulty. Like, I will not lie to you. Like, even when my father left the picture and it was just my mom alone, it was still easy. I'm not gonna lie.
Sounds like generational wealth type shit.
It was still pretty much very easy. I didn't feel like I lacked. You know, I didn't feel like I lacked.
Beautiful.
And my mom always made sure that we were experiencing a lot of things and stuff, you know. So that's why when I go on holiday, it's not a biggie to me. I'm not the one that takes content. People, I said this in the comment section the other day. I was like, I was taking boat trips to the next restaurant in St. Francis Bay before it became cool. I was flying to Knysna annually. So this whole lifestyle thing, where they're like, show me your lifestyle, this and this, I've been living it for quite some time. I have been. So my mom has really done everything possible to make sure that everything that we receive was going to be received at home, so that when we go out into the world, we weren't, you know, amazed by it, and then we get sucked into this whole entire different lifestyle and this and this and this. And like I said, didn't feel like we came from a place of lack. I didn't really feel the lack of presence of my father, basically. You know? But then she really has. So, but as we grew older, obviously things started changing. And she became more open about moments where it was difficult, where I thought, oh no, okay, we good. I didn't feel the lack. And then as we got older and we understood like money and how it works and this and that, my mom became extremely open with, you know, the times that were really, really difficult for her. And then it just got to a place where just recently, and I'm going to be very open and honest about this, but just recently we had to sell a bunch of those properties just to try and stay afloat, because just family drama wasn't being maintained properly, etc., etc. So we were really doing pretty well. I mean, KFC was renting from us, Spar was renting from us, and Boxer Superstore was also renting from us. So you can imagine that.
And Boxer is a recent development.
Exactly. So you can imagine that we were solid. But then obviously, because business wasn't being maintained the way that it should have, then my mom was speaking more and more openly about finances, and then it got to a place of like, okay, I kind of need to. I'm the oldest, so I kind of had to take the reins a little bit, or find ways to take the reins a little bit. I tried to get a job. Worked at a place called Bounce Inc. It's a trampoline park.
Oh, love.
You love it.
I haven't been there personally, but when I look at content.
The content.
I love it.
Yes, so I tried to take a job there, but very quickly it wasn't what they said it was in the beginning. So I think the first 2-3 months, 4 months even, I was seeing the money and I was like, okay. So I started taking on bills, and then after 4-5 months, they were like, listen, we gotta cut shifts. Yeah. So I stayed there for like 4 years. But then COVID hit. Lost the job as well before COVID actually and then that's when things started to like really pick up steam, where we were just like, okay, we kind of have to pull our weight here. And then before I lost my job, I was working on shift, and then I was on Instagram, and then I found DJ Coach.
Hey, you see, this is why, and people were questioning why I said I appreciate him. I don't appreciate him for this amount of times that he lied, or when I caught him out in a scam or anything like that. I appreciate him for the fact that many of us, including me, DJ Coach was our starting point, our introduction to forex trading.
One-man strategy.
Man, we all tried it once upon a time. We can't lie about that. And that is why I just had to be like, nah, respect to you, because if you, Sandile Shezi, Cashflow, Louis Jr., even though they are in the amount of shit that they are right now, if they hadn't pushed forex the way they did, even Ref Wayne, if they hadn't pushed forex the way they did, regardless of the scams and shit, it wouldn't be as big.
It wouldn't be as big. And if people can just get past through the nonsense that is there within trading, and actually get to like the root of it and how it works, and maybe just really put their heads down and work at the skill, you will start to see that it's really real, and it's a life-changing skill, and it's something where you can build around for many years to come.
True. This is such a legacy. Let me say it like this. Through forex trading, you can leave a proper legacy behind.
You genuinely
without having to, like, I wouldn't say without having to break a sweat, because there are moments where it's like, but also without unnecessary stress and dealing with people. And because I mean, some of us are, I wouldn't say we are closeted, but it's a case of we don't want to deal with people unnecessarily.
Yes.
Like, if I can say it, why I say that is because when I walked out of Spur, my main thing was, I'm not dealing with people ever again.
That's how I felt about when I lost my job at Bounce, because I think we also had a conversation earlier about how I was like, I don't want any kids. Like, that job had really just put like a whole stain on like working with people, number one, and the kids that came with it as well too, where I was just like, you know what, I'm good.
I can imagine the amount of entitled brats.
Oh my gosh. There was one, this is the one story, I don't know if I can share it with you, but there was one story where I just started working, like my first month or two there at Bounce, and I remember it was a morning shift during the week, and then we got told like what was going to be happening for the day. So like, hey, there's going to be a NetBank group that's coming in, so just do what you do for the 2 hours that they're going to be there. And cool. So the NetBank group comes in, obviously we host them, they had a nice time, and then the second hour they could just free roam the area. So then once they free roam the area, you have to be stationed at like, you're stationed for like that certain hour. And there was a place where I was stationed at where it was completely empty, but I still had to like prioritize where the most people were at, but I had to keep an eye on both places. There was a family from the UK that had come in. Long story short, obviously with obstacle courses and trampoline parks, there's rules, there's really strict rules to ensure your safety. Long story short, entitled, and this kid, I think he was how old? He was like 11. Cool. 11 years old. He's jumping, not following the rules. Came to him, I was like, listen, please, one at a time, land with both feet, the whole thing. And then wasn't following my rules, confronted him a second time. Cool, fine. Not following my rules again. Then I had to go and confront the parents and be like, listen, your son is jumping very dangerously.
Some parents don't like that.
Yeah, he's jumping very dangerously, and I just want to warn you that if he continues, something's going to happen. you know how the parents are, he's just playing, let him be, he's going to be fine, So there was a point where every hour you had to rotate positions, right? So the hour came, started rotating the positions, and the music is loud, very, very loud, energetic, all of that stuff. I'm saying this because the next sound was so loud, we knew what happened. All you heard was so loud. And this kid is just going, he starts screaming. I was walking away and I was just like, I don't even want to look at it. But we were trained first aiders, so we had to do so much until the ambulance was to come and, So obviously went, because I was guarding him, and literally broke his leg, bone sticking out of the shin, all of that. So then we had protocols to try and calm them down, so that we can just, get them off the trampoline or leave them on the trampoline safely, so they don't really go into shock or anything. And yeah, I got there, and so we have to kind of get their mind off the injury. So we called the ambulance okay, we're on our way. And then, he's so entitled. And then I was like, hey, so what's your name? Silence.
Man.
My team leader asked the same question, tells him his name. Cool. I'm like, alright. So I was like, I can hear that you're from the UK, which part? Silence. Same guy, my team leader asked the question, goes, from the London area. I'm picking it up, I'm like, okay, just one more question. I'm like, okay, you're from London. What's your favorite football team? There's Chelsea, there's Spurs, there's this. Quiet. And then team leader was asked the same question, and he goes, Tottenham Hotspurs. I picked it up very quickly that this kid's racist. I was like, okay, we'll not answer a black person. It's okay, it's cool, fine. And then team leader was like, he also picked it up, so he's like, okay, no, it's fine, you can leave.
I handle this.
As I was leaving, one of our top team leaders, first aid, everything, is pulling through, right? And then my second team, the team leader who was there, was like, listen, so-and-so is gonna help you out. This kid literally screams, no, I would rather die than let him help me. Another black guy. And that's when I was just like, yo, I'm in for a treat with this job.
Kids are the worst. And I say that because I have two gremlins of my own.
Yeah.
I want to circle back to your mother and the magnificent role that she has played in your life. What values or habits did your mother instill in you that you carry into your trading career?
Oh yes, this is integrity. So my mom works in the travel industry and she loves it to pieces. And integrity and customer service. So I think, not to plug my mentorship or anything, but a lot of people who have joined my mentorship have always praised me for how I'm always there, the aftercare service, right? My mom says good customer service always makes the consumer loyal to the brand. So I've witnessed a lot of that through my mom, how she did her work. My mom has huge clients that are willing to follow her wherever she may go. Clients like Rand Merchant Bank, CNN, all of that, literally are willing to follow her wherever she goes if she were to start something, simply because she was always the type of person where she'd go the extra mile with the customer service. So integrity and customer service, that's what I also put back into my service in terms of just even engaging with people online, and also just how I provide my mentorship, especially when it comes to trading. You do need that. A lot of mentors these days, they'll just take your money, throw you at the course, and then be like, I gave you what you asked for, I gave you what you paid for, I gave you what you need. But then they forget the whole mentor aspect. They completely forget that part. So integrity and customer service, that's what I've been bringing the whole entire time to.
That's good characteristics to carry, and good habits to carry into your trading career, because not a lot of people are that gratuitous, I would say, with their time, the effort, and the capabilities. I wanted to ask you, was financial, because you say you were exposed to the financial side of your family.
Yes.
As you grew up, obviously, as and look, I feel like this happens with all wealthy people. It's like they wait for the children to grow a certain age where the maturity has set in, they have a mindset now, and it's like, okay, now we can tell you what is actually happening, because you won't flip out, or you won't make ill use of what the opportunities that we are giving you. So I wanted to ask you, with being exposed to financial management so early, did that play a positive role in how you manage your finances in trading?
No. No, it didn't. Let me tell you why. So, my mom, my whole family calls her panic mechanic.
Okay.
My mom is the type of person where she just panics, right? Where she feels like, I don't have enough of this, or we don't have enough of that, and it played a lot into the finances and stuff. So my mother is a person where she always just, I think when my grandparents died, and then obviously when my mom was a stay-at-home mom when she married my dad, so she had no work experience until obviously the divorce happened, and then she realized, yeah, okay, I have to go out and look for a job and stuff like that. So she's always been in that constant survival mode of, I need to make sure that I have enough. And the moment that maybe, 2 rand comes off or 5 rand comes off, she starts to freak out, and then she starts thinking of like, okay, no, I need to make sure that we stock up on this. It even when it comes to like the littlest things, such as buying in bulk during Black Fridays and stuff, she'll buy and say, hey, listen, this will last for like the next 7 months, and it will be like like sunlight dishwasher, all of that stuff. So it's like she lives in a constant state of like fearing that she's lacking in all areas, and she tries and stocks up and saves as much as possible. And it's carried over into how I trade as well too, where you can't necessarily have that. You have to be in a mindset, exactly. So I
get you.
Yes, you can't have that, because you're already in an industry where you're watching how you're losing money. True. And you're watching how much you're making money. And the moment that you start to see that you're in drawdown, I'm always in a state of like immediately planning, like, okay, if this account blows, or if I lose this trade, I'm going to fund it again so that I can go back to break even and stuff like that. And there are moments where I do flip out even when I get trades wrong, because she's brought that state of like constant lack into the way that I trade. So it's been a difficult journey to like navigate every single time that I take a trade. I guess my ADHD meds helps a little bit. But because it also helps regulate my emotions as well. So yeah, so no, it hasn't really been the greatest. It hasn't been helpful.
I will actually corroborate that, because I wouldn't say I grew up in a similar situation, but I was raised by my grandma, who didn't grow up in that financial education space. She also had to make do with her own, and how she like found the world, I would say. And for women that time, it was like much harder. So seeing my grandma, and sometimes just hearing what she like went through, man, was like, you strong, we can face whatever we are facing today, because due to apartheid, Groups Areas Act, she got removed from a Gordons Bay property, and it's actually quite a good property, and she was able to acquire that through being a house help, a maid, and she didn't start like, how can I say, she didn't start wealthy, or because whenever she had to send home as well, and like you say, that obviously carries over. So I was raised by my grandma and my uncle. My uncle is like a school principal, and when they look at him, they're like, okay, so let me say it like this, right? when people look at like my cousins, right? Because or majority of my family are like teachers, right? So the one would like go to Paul Valet, the other two went to like a Renish Girls School. These are like expensive schools, right? And then you find me in the ghetto school, and people would like always ask like, why are you here and there? And, you know, as I grow up, I was like, okay, it was my parents' responsibility. My granny and my uncle are just giving me the basics, and I need to make do with like what I have. But like, what I'm trying to say is that I also never just got opportunities. Sure, that was open to me. I got many opportunities due to my uncle also was, and but like just getting stuff, you know, that is, and growing up, right, that influences a lot of how you buy, how you purchase, the decision making behind it. But one thing that I always said, right, doesn't matter how bad it goes with me, I might be crying my eyes out. I will never ever expose my children to that, because having been exposed on my end to a to that side of I wouldn't say haves, but it's almost like earn, you know. And I mean, I don't blame my family, because raising me and making sure the opportunities was tight for me, it's the job of my parents. They completely failed, and I don't want to fail like my child, because they mustn't grow up with this. Because as you say, that also affects how I take trades at times, and how I feel when I'm in losing trades, how I feel if an account blows, and having that scarcity mindset very often, I wouldn't say shields you, but it very often makes you look away from the abundant opportunities. And that is something that I just do not want for my children. Hearing about your upbringing, I can imagine that your parents might have prioritized education for like you and your sister. I wanted to ask you, how did your educational background influence your approach to trading and decision making?
So I didn't have a good education background. Like, I didn't. Well, not to say that my parents didn't provide for me, mostly my mother. But I chopped and changed schools like a lot. So the reason why I have ADHD in my name is because I have ADHD. And I discovered that pretty damn late. And the reason why I was chopping and changing schools so often was because obviously they thought that I had like learning disabilities and this and that. So they were trying to put me in different schools. I'm going to be honest with everyone here. I failed grade 8, right? I failed grade 8, had to repeat that, and then moved on to grade 9, and then I was on the brink of failing grade 9 as well too. And then before I could do that, my mom had to quickly like take me out and place me into like these other schools, like more like a Cambridge, which is a lot harder than, you know, your private schools and stuff like that. But she had to take me out and put me into Cambridge because their learning system kind of would quickly cover up the fact that I nearly failed twice. So so they started thinking that I had like a learning disability, but they would pick it up in certain areas where no, but she's smart, like she actually has something there. But when it came to having to like be put in front of a classroom and then having, you know, step-by-step things, I did not do well in any of that. I didn't. And then I had to get to a point where I had to do like my grade 11 and my trick in like 1 year in order for me to get like finish on time and stuff like that. And even that wasn't actually helping, but I still managed to like, you know, pass by the grace of God somehow. And so that was because I had ADHD. And, you know, when it comes to, you know, things such as ADHD, when it comes to like black families and all that stuff, it's something that's not taken seriously.
Facts.
Yeah, and I think my mom as well struggled to, you know, believe that. But as I got older, and now it became a thing where, okay, no, you've been diagnosed with ADHD. I found out from like my physiotherapist as well. So I fractured my spine when I was 6. Just a fun fact, yeah. Was nearly paralyzed, but so I go and see my physiotherapist often for that. And she basically told me that my mom knew since I was in grade 9 that I could have possibly had ADHD, but she didn't really want to like take it seriously. And then other family members came out where they were like, yeah, no, we were discussing it since you were like 15 type of thing. So that was something I really struggled to like accept, because I was just like, if maybe I had known sooner, what could I have been? You know? Would I have been in the trading industry? Would I have been in the finance industry? And then obviously I didn't have a good connection with school due to all the trauma of being taken out and put into the next. Exactly. So I didn't want to continue my studies further. I didn't. And then I tried a lot of things then, tried to run businesses, which some were good, some were successful, but, you know, obviously didn't last long. But then, yeah, no, me realizing that I didn't have solid opportunities compared to a person that pushed forward and went to varsity and got a degree and stuff, I realized that the odds were really stacked against me. And even though I came from a very privileged background, there were just certain things that even then we didn't have access to. So we did have connections, but obviously, you know, they like to gatekeep and all of this. So
Always.
Exactly. So
Always.
Then it just got to a point where it was like, by fire, by force, I'm going to make this trading, I'm going to make this trading thing happen. So that's how my education basically fueled me getting into the trading space, yeah.
So you come from an educational background, because obviously for your grandmother to become a nurse, she has to be educated. For your grandfather to be able to do what he does, he had to be educated.
Yeah.
Same for your mother, same for your father.
Yes.
So there's a strong educational background.
Very
and
strong.
I just wanted to find this out, because obviously what I'm trying to get at with that is, you saw that with the education came a lot of lucrative financial opportunities.
Yes.
What was your aha moment in forex trading that made you decide trading? Okay, not necessarily trading over books, but what made you decide that you are going to pursue trading over a conventional career?
When I first got my withdrawal of 10,000,
that's the
my
first time
first
for a lot of
withdrawal
people.
was 10,000 rand. I didn't believe that it was there, but the moment that it came in, and it only took a day. Took a day to come in. The moment that I saw it clear into my account, that was it.
My first withdrawal was from XM, and it took me, like, I come from the era where a withdrawal took you anything from 3 to 8 days.
Oh yes, that was,
and for me, that is why I say a lot of traders today are like microwave generation.
Oh yes,
man,
they microwave.
because it's like withdraw and boom, the money's there. Whereas with us, it's like you know your money's on the way, you know it's coming, you're not gonna hit your bank account. Let me continue, let me make more. I wanted to ask you this, and when I look at how close you are with your lady, I'm probably very certain that she's gonna fit somewhere into this answer.
Of course.
But I wanted to ask you, how do you mentally and emotionally handle the pressure of trading? Where do you turn to for balance and support?
It has to be my partner. It genuinely has to be my partner. She's literally just the comfort that I need. 100%.
Don't quite know you watching. We're missing you today.
She really does give me the comfort and the balance that I need when it comes to trading. People don't realize this, but trading in itself, no matter the support, it's very, very lonely. They don't understand. They don't understand what you deal with mentally and emotionally and financially. Before Nonku, I had a partner who was just flat out not understanding. Flat out not understanding. And there would be moments that I'm crying and
You can't even explain.
I can't even explain it to her.
You know that person is not gonna get it.
Yeah, and she was definitely not even gonna get it. And she also comes from like a background of being educated. She was a nurse at the time. And as much as I don't want to like bring her into it, but that story does play a huge role in where I am today as well too. But she didn't understand whatsoever, and through that, a lot of my trading failures also began to like stem from the lack of understanding, the lack of support, and all that. So when my current partner came into the picture, it was a breath of fresh air. I think when she came in, and I was literally just saying, listen, if any person comes in after that relationship and has a problem with my trading, out the door immediately. Out the door immediately. Non-negotiable, because that's when I just was like, listen, I'm really going to focus and put my all into this, because I can see that I can get something out of this. And obviously when we're in the talking phase, getting to know each other phase, where do you see yourself in 5 years and all of that, the entire conversation, I was like, listen, I'm doing this thing called trading. This is how it affects me, and this and that. I'm just letting you know that
this is where I'm going.
This is where I'm going, and if you're with me, great. If not, I'm sorry, I'm gonna have to call it quits. And she was literally just like, tell me everything that I need to know, how you work, what you need of me to support you, and
love.
Literally, she's just been there. She was the person that when I needed to fund my accounts, she was using her allowance at the time, and she was just funding my accounts, paying for my trading mentorships with other gurus and stuff, my funded accounts. She was genuinely there, and now she's there mentally and emotionally. The finance part, she's done with.
Last time you guys were here when we did that live stream, right? Normally people don't pick me up as someone that notices a lot, right? And I could notice how careful you were with her. Nonko, are you okay? Do you need something? Can I get you something? And that really made me, this is the one.
No, she 100% is the one. It was even at a stage where I wanted to quit trading, and she was like, okay, what are we going into next? It wasn't just what are you going into next. It was like, where are we going? And then when she started like placing things on the table, she's like, okay, all right, what's the plan B? And I realized that there's no plan B. She was just like, listen, and I can see that you've put so much work into this. And she was like, I know this is very daunting for you, but I need you to dismantle everything and start from scratch. And if it wasn't her saying, you need to just dismantle everything that you've learned and genuinely start from scratch, I wouldn't be ADHD Trader. I wouldn't be sitting here in front of you. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing. So if it wasn't for her, honestly.
Shout out, Nonk. Do you have any daily rituals or routines outside of trading that help keep you grounded?
Oh yes, it has to be, obviously. I love to game. I'm a huge gamer.
Oh, lovely.
Huge gamer, but music, man. I know it sounds crazy. In fact, it's not crazy, because a lot of traders who attempt to do the music stuff and it doesn't really work out for them, they come into the trading space. But for me, I used to be a DJ before trading, hey? I genuinely did. I was getting gigs. I was. And I really was trying to like take this whole thing off. And then my mom was the one where she was just like, a woman DJing, you're not gonna make any money. And it kind of like sat with me. So I was just like, okay. And that was during the time where she was basically opening up to me about the whole money thing and all that stuff. So it kind of also played a role where it was just like, okay, yeah, no. But music, people have seen how into music I am, how I have like the whole entire setup as my, office and all that. And yeah, so they will be like DJ ADHD, and I'm like, no, we're not really there yet. But yeah, music and gaming, and also spending time with my family, it really does recenter me. You have to recenter yourself from trading due to the emotional and mental, toll that it comes with it. That's why I don't understand people who are on TikTok live and they're analyzing on a Saturday, and I'm just like, what are you doing? You need to have a life outside of it that is not at all attached to trading, just to keep your sanity.
True. Yeah. That is why, as tough as it is, I appreciate my children because they get me in a space where I don't think about, you know, the next trade.
Yeah.
Oh, I took a L, I must get back.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, what is something that no one would guess about you from seeing your professional side?
No one would guess about me. That's actually a very interesting question. I don't know if this is a thing though. I'm trying to think. There's a lot that my ADHD plays on me. So I'm trying to like bring up. No, I've already spoken about that. But maybe. I'm a huge WWE fan. Huge WWE fan. Like, actually, yeah, not a lot of people know
Were
this.
Were you as heartbroken as I was when you found out it was scripted?
Bro,
because I cried for days. What do you mean? Undertaker and Kane on brothers?
You have no idea. So my uncle, the one who I mentioned earlier in the interview, when I said that he's like one of the prominent male figures in my life, and we don't have much. He was the one that ruined it for me. And I remember I was watching it. Obviously, it was on ETV and all of that stuff. And he literally came up to me. He's like, "Do you know this is fake?" And I'm like, "No." And I was like, "No, it's not fake. It's not fake whatsoever." And he's like, "Then why don't they get blue eyes when they get punched? Why don't they bleed when they get punched?" And he's like, "Just pay attention. Just pay attention." And I literally paid attention to it, and I started seeing like when they throw punches, it's not fully there. And, you know, like the stunts obviously are real, and they're in a way where they try and protect each other, where they don't get badly hurt. But when you started like picking up on certain things, and they're like, "Yeah, these people are just acting, it's just storylines and stuff like that," I quit watching WWE for like 8 years.
Shame.
But now
I haven't gone back to it ever.
I've gone back to it. I've gone back to it because now they've made it an open thing now, where you know. They bring in the audience into understanding behind the scenes and how storylines get put together, and it's just such an you start to appreciate like the art of it. But my biggest like my favorite wrestler right now is probably obvious, Roman Reigns, and I use everything that man does within my trading. Everything that he says, how he goes about preparing, you know, the mental, the emotional side. Everything. In my mentorship, my students call me the Roman Reigns, the tribal chief of trading.
Hey.
So, yeah.
With trading, personally, one is constantly evolving. If it isn't a loss that's evolving you, it's a big win. If it isn't a missed trade that is evolving you, it is maybe a big withdrawal.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, over the years, how has your personal definition of success evolved?
Oof. I would like to say through my students mostly. Yeah.
It's a good measurement.
It is a good measurement.
The reason why I say it's a good measurement is because you're basically leaving all of that to the findings, the opinions, the say so about you. You're leaving that completely in the hands of other people.
Yes. And I think that was, I wasn't really trying to do that as well. But when it came to your popular forex gurus that we all know, you never really heard it from their students if they were making it. It was always their testimonies. It was the forex traders who were posting the testimonials of other students of theirs or students of theirs, and it was never from a student themselves. So I just thought that, okay, maybe that's just like a normal thing. I don't know. But it was not until obviously I would get personal messages from students who just absolutely thanking me. But then there was a student of mine, you can even go onto my TikTok to see it. I was very surprised because I woke up to over 1,000 followers that day, and my DMs were flooded, and I couldn't understand what was going on. And so when I went to go and see what was happening, it was one of my very first students who had made a TikTok about her trading journeys, and she also made a video of her biggest withdrawal.
I think
as well.
I think I know you're talking about.
Yes. She made a video of her biggest withdrawal, and they all asked her in the comment section, "Who was your mentor? Who was your mentor?" And she basically was like, ADHD Trader. And then from that, I was used to her texting me and telling me how thankful she was, but she has a following of her own. So she was able to come out and actually give like a very, not solid review, but from her experiences of how she learned and where she got to that. And when people asked, she literally just said ADHD Trader. And that's when I realized that I actually invest so much, because I do, like, as much as people say, if you're making money from this, why would they want to help you make money? Which is very true. Facts. Like, there are people who genuinely do gatekeep the successes of how they make it and all that stuff. But for me, I've been where they are. That's the difference, right?
And you recognize the struggle.
I recognize the struggle. I've been a part of the scams, where I was scammed, money and all that stuff. And I was always seeking for a mentor that I needed at the time, and I was like, listen, I'm gonna take a piece of every good mentor that I've gone to and learned from, and I'm gonna try and put my own spin on it, and I'm going to become a mentor to them that I wish I had, type of thing, And I did it authentically, I did it very genuinely, and I wasn't really expecting like a thank you and stuff like that, or like a testimonial. If they wanted to do it, I left it up to them. Yeah, I left it up to them, but it was such a huge surprise for me that someone actually went out there and was like, no, ADHD was my mentor, and was able to explain as best as possible that, no, I found success with her, I enjoyed her mentorship because of this and this and this, and the mentor that she was to me, and it helped me grow in these certain aspects without even me having to like coach her or tell her or kind of like, cook up these fake testimonials that these mentors do. I literally went to her and I sent her, I was like, thank you so much. Well, like, thank you. So I even had to make a video where I was just like, guys, I want to take all of you, but I can't necessarily take all of you. But that was such a beautiful thing to basically see someone just give me my flowers like that, man. And and it was just one of those things. I'm like, okay. It also made me realize that a lot of these mentors who post the testimonials themselves, it's cooked up, it's microwaved, it's from them and stuff like that. So
people didn't believe me, but at that time I exposed FX codes for having a website.
I remember that video, yeah.
With the fake testimonials, and then the very next day the site was gone.
Yes.
And they spun a story to me about someone else was running the site, and the moment they approached him, he deleted the site. But now, if you are busy...
Was this the same site where they were trying to like get your page taken down and all that? That was some different...
No, that is a different... That was recent where they sent people.
Yes.
But for me it was just like where I didn't buy that story. Let's say you are extorting me with a fake website in my name and all of that. You are giving away your only trump card to get to the money. It just didn't make sense to me, man. How is this brother just by asking gonna take off that site? Meanwhile, he wants to extort money out of you guys. It's just not making. But when I saw that, I was like, damn, this industry is dirty.
You have no idea.
And sometimes still I get shocked when I look. By now you would think I would be desensitized.
No.
But at times I'm still like, did this guy catch this on?
Bro, and just hearing certain things happening at FMIS as well. Like great event, networking, but the tea that was coming out there, and you're just shocked that you're just like, whoa.
Hot, I tell you. I wanted to ask you, in what ways do you try to give back or support others, either in training or whether it be in your community? I think we must scratch community away, because in Sandton, I don't think there's people that's out there scurrying for the help like that.
I live in a very Jewish neighborhood, so definitely not.
Hectic. Live in a Jewish neighborhood.
Definitely not, but no, man. it depends. With people, if I can see that they all about the knowledge and they really, really want to learn, then I do give out quite a bit of my mentorship for free as well. But it's mostly church, eh? I center God in everything that I do, especially with my trading. I pray about my trading, guys.
It's like every other professional lane, like a doctor, perhaps a lawyer, a teacher. It's just that it's been trivialized to the point where people don't want to have respect for traders.
Yes. So yeah, it's mostly my church. So whenever I get like a withdrawal or this, I'm always tithing. Like, it's always, even when I send the reference to them, it's amen. Just, I'm always tithing. If there's any charity, I like to donate most of. I don't. Can I be honest with you? I don't like to get my hands dirty. I think, for me, coming from like a very soft and sheltered life where a lot of things were done for me, I think that's the one thing that when I come into the adulthood of things, I'm just that type of person where I'm like, I don't like to get my hands dirty. Even my mom says I have really soft hands. I don't know what a hard life is because my hands are still soft. I don't know hard labor. So I think that's maybe just a little bit offside of me. But in terms of just donating to any cause and mostly just the church, my pockets are always open. That's I feel as if money can stretch into many different counterparts of things. That can help in many different ways, and so I try to like offer more financial assistance more than anything in terms of my church and any other form of like, you know, charity that needs my donation.
That's a good philosophy around that. I wanted to ask you, what were some of your biggest mistakes or challenges early on, and how did you overcome them?
Listening to the noise. Listening to
that seems
noise.
to be the problem of a lot of beginners, eh? Because the noise is like in your face, while if you want the proper information, you're gonna have to sift through that noise to get to.
It's a lot. It's the noise. I've spoken about this multiple times, but the moment that I lost 880,000 due to NFP, I switched strategies with the quickness because of the noise. It's a lot of money. It is a lot of money. It was, and I couldn't accept it was due to my stupidity, but I blamed the strategy. And so I went out looking for the next best thing, which ended up becoming like SMC. But I even see it with my students, but I always feel as if that, you know, it's that cunning event that you have to go through. Like, I had a student who came in and deliberately said, why aren't you teaching me what this guy is doing, and he's making millions from NASDAQ? And I was just like, if you actually went through my course, you'd see that we're doing the exact same thing. But you know what? Go out and do your thing. It's okay. It's fine. And he literally circled back around, and he realized very quickly that he was distracted and drawn to the noise. And that's why when I try and tell anybody who's trying to get into trading, put your head down and mute all the influences that you follow. You know, be careful with having to learn from this person, that person, etc., because you're gonna get into a you know, mindset, or just like a place in learning how to trade where you know so much but you don't know how to bring it together, and then you get stuck. So the noise is obviously the biggest factor, and then secondly is I wish I wasn't trading with money that I needed, because I feel as if that also affected my psychology.
A lot.
So, yeah.
When you do with money that you need, it's always gonna be it has to work.
I used to sell things to fund accounts, thinking that I was gonna make it back, and then when I would lose it, that mental hole that you get into.
It all comes crashing down.
Yeah.
Tell me, obviously you have changed strategies, like you just said, you lost that 880,000 rand, which made you lose strategy, or which made you switch strategy rather. I wanted to ask you, what is your trading style or strategy, and how did you develop it after that loss? And look, I'm asking this not to pry on your trading style or anything like that.
I'm actually pretty open about my
And the reason why I feel comfortable asking that question is because trading to me is like watching a series of rush hour movies. Let me explain to you. Let me explain to you. You're gonna see all these stunts. Jackie Chan is doing, Chris Tucker is doing. You're seeing all of the analysis and the profits and stuff that's being made, even if it's just for one day. But when that person leaves and his mouth stops mouthing what he's doing, people won't be able to emulate, is the word. People won't be able to emulate what has been.
Very true.
And I mean with me as well, because I also went to some introductory forex seminars where people were like, okay, this is what I do, this is how I do it. And for me it was just like, so this is how it's really working. And then you actually realize, this is what I also dislike about those introductory ones. They give you just enough.
They give you the bones.
To be like curious. Or let's rather say it like this: they give you the bone, but before they give it to you, they dip it in gravy so that you might think there's something there. And then you actually have to like dig to get to like the solid pieces of information that will actually help you onto your next level. I want to ask you this. Oh no, I didn't answer your trading style.
Oh, the trading style. Yes, let me get into the trading style quickly. So again, my ADHD, because I've learned so many strategies, it's gotten to a point where if I understand how strategy works and I see it as a setup, whether it's break and retest, whether it's SMC, whether it's ICT, I'm taking it. My main thing that I always stress to my students and also my audience on TikTok is that market structure is the most important thing when it comes to any trading strategy. And if you understand market structure, then you can trade anything. You can use any strategy to trade, but market structure for me is so vitally important. And I always say that a lot of ICT traders don't actually understand market structure. They don't understand market structure, which is crazy. But the one strategy that I'm very open to everybody, and they think I look like a puss when I say this, I'm sorry to say, but break and retest of support and resistance, that is, I feel as if, such a key foundation to you understanding every strategy that's out there. And
I see a lot of people that's like against trend lines, against support and resistance.
No.
And then I'm just sitting here like,
I don't understand that.
That's how I caught like my big break.
Yeah, and I don't understand that because I always say that that's what price is telling you what it's trying to do.
In that very moment.
And you're going to just completely dismiss it? Like, I don't understand that. When people say trend lines don't work, I made a video literally about 2-3 days ago where I'm like, people who say trend lines don't work is because they don't know how to draw them. Finished. They don't know how to draw them.
You have to actually be precise.
Yes, you need to be pretty precise with trend lines, but people are going to throw out candlestick patterns, they're going to throw out support and resistance, they're going to throw out chart patterns, everything, trend lines, all of this, they're going to throw it out. But I'm like, there's a reason why price repeats certain patterns like that or repeats certain price levels like that, and it breaks out there and it breaks out there. There's a reason. That is literally price telling you where it wants to go, what's happening currently, and what you need to basically like look out for. And they completely dismiss it and they're like, oh yeah, well, order blocks and this and this and that. I'm just like, okay. Or, silver bullets, and it's just like, okay.
Silver bullet took me to one person, and I'm so sad for that guy because a year ago he was the talk of the town. Now it's really sad how when you mix with certain people,
it's very
it all just like goes down. Damn.
No, that's very true. That's very true. And I've always, the moment that I've seen someone's integrity like go another way, I will completely distance myself from it. And there was someone, I think you got into a tip with that person, can't remember who it was, but I think I was also in, it was when you were fighting with everybody on TikTok at that time, where they were like, yeah, no, but when I hang out with this person, why do you automatically assume that I'm a scammer and this and this and that? And genuinely, birds of a feather really do flock together. Like,
can I just say this? That really it pisses me somewhat off, man. Because when you look at what I'm doing, what I've done, this should tell people, and this year I've gotten those very same accusations where it's like, oh, but you're standing with this one and that one, how can we trust you? And I'm just like,
oh yeah, I see people are very upset about the DJ Coach.
Haven't my deeds at FMH24 proven that I'm impenetrable? Because when you look at it like this, and I'm always telling people this, someone's past, right, the same way you use the past to analyze the market to tell you the future, you can see through someone's actions. At FMH24, took a photo with Marco. Have I exposed Marco after that? Most definitely.
Yes, you have.
FMH24, I took a photo with Jason Noah. I'm still on his neck. FMH24, I took a photo with Nas 106. I released a video about him the other day. I took a photo with Nasdaq Ninja. Nasdaq Ninja was the very first photo I uploaded of that FMH24. And people were like, you sold out. How dare you do this? But if you look at it like this, a day before FMH25, I uploaded a photo of Nasdaq Ninja versus Leadership, where I clearly title the video Scammer versus Scammer. And for me, at times, it's like, how can you like... But one thing that I've said now, just to get off that quickly, because I'm not here to defend that. Ultimately, people will see the value of the podcasts that I'm trying to do. They will see it for what it is. But to get off that, right, one thing that I've asked people that they still can't get back to me on is, you remember that iconic interview that Louis Theroux had with Malevin? I only want money. You don't give me.
You don't give me.
Now, the most shocking part of that interview is where Malevin said, I will break into your house, I will stick your kid into the oven, and you will give me that money. Now, Louis Theroux stood with Malevin for so long. Why isn't Louis Theroux being labeled a thug or a baby killer? Cool, let me make another example in case the audience at home didn't catch it. I don't know if you can remember that or know about that infamous interview that Ross Kemp had, I believe, with Johnny Mongrel in the prison, where he says when he SAs his victim, he puts his face to the victim so that the victim can see him and knows that. You don't remember that one?
No.
I will show it to you. I will show it to you after this podcast, right? But why weren't people labeling Ross Kemp a thug or a rapist? And he interviewed one. And to me, it's like the same thing with, if I have to bring the example home now, the same thing with your Deborah Patter. She would make a third degree episode on whoever is busy doing what. Then she goes to chase that person. But why aren't people labeling her a scammer as well? More recently, if you look at Devi Sankari Govender, she exposes people, she goes to sit down with them. Why isn't she labeled as... But when Rydall does it, Rydall is sold out.
The double standard is crazy.
You know, the double standards in this industry is crazy. Not to like comment on other people's stuff, but this stuff that other people have done that's way worse than me going to... And keep in mind, Kanye, this is what really like angers me a little bit, is that when I started the exposing journey, I told people there's gonna come a point where this channel is gonna be so big that I have to get these people
onto it.
I have to get their side.
It's a natural sign of growth as well,
And through them speaking, you are still able to gauge, can I trust this person or should I just stay back? And when you look at that DJ Coach podcast episode that I had, right? How do you trust him with all of those explanations? Not to throw him under the bus, not to be rude or anything like that. I'm not going to pick apart because there's a lot of stuff. I was biting my tongue. But also on the other end, I wanted to be a responsible podcaster. And also not start the argument because I for me it was like, I'm alone here, I'm with someone that is not necessarily inclined to jump into fights with me, but also, as you say, the maturity end. I need to show them as well that although I'm coming for those hard questions, I will do it in a respectable fashion and I will give you your opportunity to speak.
That's how it should be, to be honest. And also in regards to like I said, the maturity side, your channel just maturing and stuff like that, it was going to get to a place where you're going to have to start bringing these guys on, because I think even you also grew in the way that you did your research, where you started contacting them and asking for their side of the story as well.
Many of them won't.
Yeah, many of them won't. Of course, many of them won't.
Dude, even Jason, right? People think that I'm hating constantly, and I always tell people, it's not that I have a hating bone in my body or anything like that, right? But last time, there's a lot of people that would come with like fake stuff to me about Jason. And there's I think once or twice where I showed to him, and I was like, dude, if I wanted to bury you with fake information, I could do it now.
Yeah.
But I can see this is not you. The details doesn't bring me to you.
Yeah.
And basically, I don't hate the industry. I just hate what certain
we don't.
people
Yeah,
does.
that's the thing.
That's all.
The whole point was like, listen, we're not saying that you should stop, but do better, man. Like.
Do better. Yeah.
Do better. That's all that we like. It's the same way that you would go and complain about a fast food joint. They didn't serve you correctly, or they didn't give you the type of the food standard that you're expecting of them. We're just trying to tell you guys that expect that same type of service back. Like, again, people don't realize that you're taking your money and you're investing it into these people. It's like the one side that it's a side that people just don't want to. I don't know why. I think it kind of like it kind of like to the consumers, it feels like they're being sheltered from the accountability that they're gonna have to take within themselves in order to realize that it takes two to tango. And the reason why the industry is like this is because it takes two to tango, unfortunately. So
I'm starting to move towards that side also, where the conversation is evolving into the awareness is out there.
Yes.
Why are you still making these choices?
Exactly. It's that's what I wanted to say as well about with you bringing on the people, these gurus onto your podcast. You're now leaving that open-ended, type of questions to them now, and however they choose to absorb it, it's no longer your responsibility, but theirs.
True.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask you, what are some of the common misconceptions that people have about forex trading and forex traders?
The lifestyle. The lifestyle is a huge one. And it's kind of really just blurred the realities of trading. I made a video where I was like, the less traders in this industry, the better. And the less people who get into it, the better. Because you guys genuinely don't see the dark side of trading. You guys don't see it. People become suicidal from this. People lose so much money from this. And someone will actually comment, they're like, why would you want to stop someone from wanting to jump into the skill and maybe make something out of their lives? And like, I'm not trying to stop anybody, but a lot of you guys aren't cut out for this, and you're not going to make it through those dark periods and stuff. And I also made a very huge, I had to become vulnerable in my live that I hosted 2 weeks back, where we were speaking about the lifestyle. Guys, as a forex trader, do you know that banks judge you for being a trader? You don't get loans, you don't get a lot
Talk
of
about it.
I'm gonna speak about it.
And also, just for clarity, Kanye is talking about if you are trading for yourself.
Yeah.
You are seen as a high risk client.
Yep.
But if you do, how some of these guys do, the general procedure, start a company, have a positive bank flow for the first 3 to 6 months, and then go hard on that loans.
Yep. Literally, we get judged from creditors if you want to take out even just a simple thing as a cell phone contract. They literally do look at your statements and they're like, no.
Damn.
Yeah, so there's a lot of, I'm going to be honest, there's a lot of my bills that, because I'm not able to still, only recently now am I able, I'm able to just be like, okay, you have a positive cash flow coming in, etc., etc. I still, like now, I just send my mom money to be like, medical aid here, cell phone here, this and this and this. My stuff is still under her name because I could not get it onto my name. And I had to really just stress it out to a lot of my viewers as well that, guys, the trading lifestyle is very difficult to obtain because of the red tape that we have to face. And then you get people who are coming here and they're just like splurging and saying, yeah, I bought this cash. Again, that's also, a lot of it is, it's lies, because even the style, the way that they trade, I'm pretty sure that if they really were honest about it, they're blowing accounts more than them seeing any form of withdrawals. There's a style of trading that just won't help you grow, and it's a lot of the way that these guys market it to you. It's not the truth.
Facts.
Slow and steady always wins the race. Slow and steady, and that's the honest truth. It's the honest truth.
That gems.
So yeah, lifestyle, definitely.
If you see too much lifestyle, and you see, for me, that is generally how for me, it's like, you a scammer, is when I see that splurging. Because the thing is, you don't splurge like that when it's money that you've worked for.
Exactly.
And trading being a job, there's actually a lot of mental anguish that goes into making the amount of profits that you make every month.
Exactly.
In closing, I wanted to ask you this. If you could give one piece of advice to aspiring forex traders, especially young women, what would it be?
Honestly, I think the biggest fear when people get into forex trading, they hear that 99% fail and it's only the 1% that make it. And
address these misconceptions.
And when it's the 99% that fail, it's not because the difficulties of trading. Yes, I think any career that you choose to go into will be difficult. Nothing is ever easy. But the 99% is because the people didn't push past the dark side of it. That's why 99% fail and the 1% make it to the other side. With me and all my, financial, traumas, because I do have financial trauma, as much as I may come from a privileged background, that whole scarcity and mindset that my mom had has now transferred.
Yeah, that's plain trauma.
Definitely has now stemmed into my financial traumas, and especially with how I was struggling in school with my ADHD, my untreated ADHD, and having to deal with ADHD, even now in my adulthood, and everything that I do, which is very debilitating. I was able to get to the 1% side. So my thing is that trading is a huge possibility that anybody can make it if they really just are genuine about making it, and they're honest about the hard work that they want to put in and willing to put in terms of the hard work in getting to that 1%. You only become the 99% that don't make it when you just quit.
Yeah, when you just quit, you are definitely falling
in that
99%.
And category. Also, I just want to say, it's okay that you go into trading and then you realize it's not for you.
It's not for you.
There's some people who are still pushing past that, and I'm not saying that, yes, as much as you can push past it and make it to that 1%, sometimes trading is genuinely not for that specific person. Yeah, so
it just comes down to you figuring out what works for you and what doesn't.
Yeah.
So, guys, I've had an awesome time with Kanye, and I'm very certain you guys learned a thing or two, especially on the personal end. When we have our next podcast episode, I think that is when we will dive a little bit more into the professional side of how you do things. Course, yeah. I think we have dived into that when we spoke about the risk management, we spoke about the strategy, how you developed it a little bit, where you started and how that impacted your trading career. And I just want to thank you for being open and honest. I know that a lot of what you went through to get to this stage is relatable. There might be someone that is in your position where you was years ago, and just seeing or hearing this message might get them out of the rut that they are currently stuck in. And I guess that is my goal with inviting
I just want to quickly
guests
mention
like you.
That's a very important thing. I think the reason why I wish for a lot of traders who are in my position, influential, I wish that they were a lot more open, because I think it would save a lot of traders from quitting, from being in those dark spaces, from moving in areas of trading that that they could have come out earlier on, but they got stuck in for too long in. We need more relatable and honest and vulnerable traders, because a lot of you guys do look up to us and think that we don't have bad days, we're not struggling financially. Last year I was in a massive financial rut, and I was very honest about it, super honest about it, and a lot of people could just relate with me, and then I could engage with them, and then I could basically, give them some form of like suggestion, advice, and some form of support. So yeah, guys, please don't put us on this pedestal, because we're losing the same trades that you are potentially taking as well. We're also in the same ruts at times that you are in terms of financially, etc. So yeah, like, that's all I gotta say in that regard.
Nah, I'm really glad. Thank you so much for tuning in, guys. Please let us know your thoughts in the comment section, and also let me know, who would you like to see on the podcast next. Thank you so much for joining. I will see you guys in my next one. This is Mr. Scam Exposer signing out.